चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री एकादशी देवी की जय। So, Hare Krishna, welcome. I'm so glad to be back with everyone after it feels like a little bit of a break. And for those of us here, we had an entire Rath Yatra festival. We had all kinds of wonderful festivities. We have ongoing festivities. Summer is the time of festivals. And so it only seems right that we should kick it off with like the most intense fasting day that we've ever attempted ever in the year. So this is Pandava Nirjal Ekadashi. Anyone who knows me knows that Ekadashi is by far one of my most favorite days of the fortnight. Luckily we get 2 of them per month. Sometimes if the weeks work out correctly, it almost feels like 3 of them per month. But we have bonus days where it seems as though Krishna just loves us so much that he says, okay, here, I will throw more mercy at you with everything that I've got. And then we try not to play dodgeball with Krishna's mercy. But let us dive into and see this story of this Ekadashi. The story of Pandava Nirjal Ekadashi. Once, Bhima, the younger brother of Maharaj Yudhishthir, usually when we are hearing the glories of Ekadashi, Yudhishthir is acting as the mouthpiece for pretty much everyone in creation, asking Krishna all of the questions that everyone is worried about. And now we have a little bit of a switch. So we have Bhima, the younger brother of Maharaj Yudhishthir, asked the great sage Srila Vyasadeva, the grandfather of the Pandavas, if it is possible to return to the spiritual world without having observed all the rules and regulations of the Ekadashi fasts. I dare say this is a question all of us may have asked ourselves at one point or another. We may not be brave enough to have asked another senior devotee, but now this is something that so many of us have possibly, most probably, asked ourselves. Bhima then spoke as follows. O greatly intelligent and learned grandfather, my brother Yudhishthir, my dear mother Kunti, and my beloved wife Draupadi, as well as Arjun, Nakula, and Sahadev, fast completely on each Ekadashi and strictly follow all the rules, guidelines, and regulative injunctions on that sacred day. Being very religious, they always tell me that I should also fast on that day too. But, O learned grandfather, I tell them that I cannot live without eating, because as the son of Vayudev, Samanapran, the digestive air hunger, is unbearable to me. I can give widely in charity and worship Lord Keshava properly with all manner of wonderful upacharas, but I cannot be asked to fast on Ekadashi. Please tell me how I can obtain the same merits without fasting. Hearing these words, the grandsire of Bhima, Srila Vyasadeva, said, if you want to go to the heavenly planets and avoid the hellish planets, you should indeed observe a fast on both the light and dark Ekadashis. Bhima replied, O great saintly intelligent grandfather, please listen to my plea, O greatest of Munis, since I cannot live if I eat only once in a day. How can I possibly live if I fast completely? Within my stomach burns a special fire named Vrikra. the fire of digestion. Agni, the fire god, descends from Lord Vishnu through Brahma, from Brahma to Angiras, from Angiras to Brihaspati, and from Brihaspati to Samyu, who was Agni's father. He is the gatekeeper in charge of Niriti, the southeastern direction. He is one of the 8 material elements, and Parikshit Maharaj, he is very expert at examining things. He examined Maharaj Shibi once by turning into a dove. And then it tells, for further information, we can refer to Srimad Bhagavatam commentary on 1st Canto, Chapter 12, Text 20 purport. Agni is divided into 3 categories. Davagni, the fire in wood. Jataragni, the fire in the digestion in the stomach. And Vadavagni, the fire that creates fog when hot and cold streams mix in, for example, the ocean. Another name for the fire of digestion is Vrika. It is this powerful fire that resided in Bhima's stomach. Only when I eat to my full satisfaction does the fire in my stomach become satisfied. O great sage, I might possibly be able to fast only once. So I beg that you tell me of an Ekadashi that is worthy of my fasting, and that includes all other Ekadashis. I shall faithfully observe that fast, and hopefully still become eligible for liberation's release. Srila Vyasadeva replied, O king, you have heard from me about the various kinds of occupational duties, such as elaborate Vedic ceremonies and pujas. In the Kali Yuga, however, no one will be able to observe all these occupational and functional duties properly. I shall therefore tell you how, at practically no expense, one can endure some small austerity and achieve the greatest benefit and resultant happiness. The essence of what is written in the Vedic literatures, known as the Puranas, is that one should not eat on either the dark or light fortnight Ekadashis. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavat Purana itself, the essence or cream of all Vedanta philosophy, and the Srimad Bhagavatam's unequivocal message is that of full surrender to Lord Sri Krishna and the rendering of loving devotional service to him. Observing Ekadashi strictly is a great aid in that process, and here Srila Vyasadeva is simply stressing to Bhima the importance of the Ekadashi Vrat. One who fasts on Ekadashis is saved from going to the hellish planets. Hearing Srila Vyasadeva's words, the son of Vayu, Bhimasen, the strongest of all warriors, became frightened and began to shake like a leaf on a banyan tree in a strong wind. The frightened Bhimasen then said, O grandfather, what should I do? I am completely unable and ill-equipped to fast twice in a month throughout the year. Please tell me of the one fasting day that will bestow the greatest benefit upon me. Vyasadeva replied, without drinking even water, you should fast on the Ekadashi that occurs during the light fortnight of the month of Jyeshtha, May, June, when the sun travels in the sign of Taurus and Gemini. According to learned personalities, on this day, one may bathe and perform achaman for purification. But while performing achaman, one may drink only that amount of water equal to a drop of gold, or that amount it takes to immerse a single mustard seed. Only this amount of water should be placed in the right palm for sipping, which one should form to resemble a cow's ear. If one drinks more water than this, he might as well have drunk wine, despite the soaring heat of summer in the northern hemisphere and cold in the southern hemisphere. One must certainly not eat anything, for if he does, he breaks his fast. This rigid fast is in effect from sunrise on the Ekadashi day to sunrise on the Dwadashi day. If a person endeavors to observe this great fast very strictly, he easily achieves the result of observing all 24 other Ekadashi fasts throughout the entire year. On Dwadashi, the devotee should bathe early in the morning. Then, according to prescribed rules, guidelines, and regulative injunctions, and of course depending on his ability, he should give some gold and water to worthy brahmanas. Finally, he should cheerfully honor prasadam with a brahmana. O Bhimasen, one who can fast on this special Ekadashi in this manner reaps the benefit of having fasted on every Ekadashi during the year. There is no doubt of this, nor should there be. O Bhima, Now hear the specific merit one gets by fasting on this Ekadashi. The Supreme Lord Keshava, who holds a conch, discus, club, and lotus, personally told me, everyone should take shelter of me and follow my instructions. Then he told me that one who fasts on this Ekadashi without taking even drinking water or eating becomes free of all sinful reactions, and that one who observes the difficult Nirjal fast on Jyeshtha Shukla Ekadashi truly reaps the benefit of all other Ekadashi fasts. O Bhima saying, in Kali Yuga, the age of quarrel and hypocrisy, when all the principles of the Vedas will have been destroyed or greatly minimized, and when there will be no proper charity or observance of the ancient Vedic principles and ceremonies, how will there be any means of purifying the self? But there is the opportunity to fast on Ekadashi and become free of all one's past sins. O son of Vayu, what more can I say to you? You should not eat during the Ekadashis that occur during the dark and light fortnights, and you should even give up drinking water. Nir means no, Jala means water, on the particularly auspicious Ekadashi day of Jyeshtha Shukla Ekadashi. O Vrikodar, voracious eater, whoever fasts on this Ekadashi receives the merits of bathing in all the places of pilgrimage, giving all kinds of charities to worthy persons, and fasting on all the dark and light Ekadashis throughout the year in one go. Of this there is no doubt. O tiger among men, whoever fasts on this Ekadashi truly becomes a great person and achieves all manner of opulence and wealth, grains, strength, and health. And at the fearful moment of death, the terrible Yamadutas, whose complexions are yellow and black, and who brandish huge maces and twirl mystic bosh ropes in the air for binding their victims, will refuse to approach him. Rather, such a faithful soul will at once be taken to the supreme abode of Lord Vishnu by the Vishnudutas, whose transcendently beautiful forms are clothed in gorgeous yellowish garments, and who each hold a disc, club, conch, and lotus in their 4 hands, resembling Lord Vishnu. It is to gain all these benefits that one should certainly fast on this very auspicious and important Ekadashi, even from water. When the other Pandavas heard about the benefits to be gained by following Jyeshtha Shukla Ekadashi, they resolved to observe it exactly as their grandfather Shila had explained it to their brother Bhima. All the Pandavas observed it by refraining from eating or drinking anything, and thus this day is also known as Pandava Nirjal Ekadashi. Sometimes it falls on Dwadashi. Shila continued, O Bhima, therefore you should observe this important fast to remove all your past sinful reactions. You should pray to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, in this way, making your Sankalpa declaration, O Lord of all the Devas, demigods, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, today I shall observe Ekadashi without taking any water. O unlimited Anantadev, I shall break fast on the next day, Dwadashi. Thereafter, to remove all his sins, the devotee should honor this Ekadashi fast with full faith in the Lord and with full control over his senses. Whether his sins are equal in volume to Mount Sumeru or to Mandrachala Hill, or if he or she observes this Ekadashi, the sins that have accumulated all become nullified and are burned to ashes. Such is the great power of this Ekadashi. O best of human beings, although a person should also give water and cows in charity during this Ekadashi, if for some reason or other he cannot, then he should give a qualified Brahmana some cloth or a pot filled with water, or maybe even just a water bottle. Indeed, the merit achieved by giving water alone equals that gained by giving gold 10 million times a day. O Bhima, Lord Sri Krishna has said that whoever observes this Ekadashi should take a holy bath, give charity to a worthy person, chant the Lord's holy names on a japamala, and perform some kind of recommended sacrifice, for by doing these things on this day, one receives imperishable benefits. There is no need to perform any other kind of religious duty. Observance of this Ekadashi fast alone promotes one to the supreme abode of Sri Vishnu. O best of the Gurus. If one donates gold, cloth, or anything else on this day, the merit one obtains is imperishable. Remember, whosoever eats any grains on Ekadashi becomes contaminated by sin and verily eats only sin. In effect, he has already become a dog eater, and after death he suffers a hellish existence. But he who observes this sacred Jyeshtha Shukla Ekadashi and gives something in charity certainly achieves liberation from the cycle of repeated birth and death and attains to the supreme abode. Observing this Ekadashi frees one from the horrible sin of killing a Brahmana, drinking liquor and wine, becoming envious of one's spiritual master, and ignoring his instructions, and continually telling lies. Furthermore, O best of beings, any man or woman who observes this fast properly and worships the Supreme Lord, Jalshai, he who sleeps on the water, and who on the next day satisfies a qualified Brahmin with nice sweets and a donation of cows and money, such a person certainly pleases the Supreme Lord Vasudeva, so much so that 100 previous generations in his family undoubtedly go to the Supreme Lord's abode, even though they may have been very sinful, of bad character, and guilty of suicide, etc. Indeed, one who observes this amazing Ekadashi rides on a glorious celestial airplane or Viman to the Lord's abode. One who on this day gives a Brahmin a water pot, an umbrella, or shoes surely goes to the heavenly planets. Indeed, he who simply hears these glories also attains to the transcendental abode of the Supreme Lord Sri Vishnu. Whoever performs the Shraddha ceremony to the forefathers on the dark moon day called Amavasya, particularly if it occurs at the time of a solar eclipse, undoubtedly achieves great merit. But this same merit is achieved by him who simply hears this sacred narration. So powerful and so dear to the Lord is this Ekadashi. One should clean his teeth properly, and without eating or drinking observe this Ekadashi to please the Supreme Lord Keshava. On the day after Ekadashi, one should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his form as Trivikram by offering him water, flowers, incense, and a brightly burning lamp. Then the devotee should pray from the heart, O God of gods, O deliverer of everyone, O Rishikesh, master of the senses, kindly bestow upon me the gift of liberation, though I can offer you nothing greater than this humble pot filled with water. Then the devotee should donate the water pot to a Brahmin. O Bhima, after this Ekadashi fast and donating the recommended items according to his ability, the devotee should feed Brahmanas and thereafter honor prasadam silently. Srila Vyasadeva concluded, I strongly urge you to fast on this auspicious, purifying, sin-devouring Dwadashi in just the way I have outlined. Thus you will be completely freed of all sins and reach the supreme abode. Thus ends the narration of the glories of Jyeshtha Shukla Ekadashi, or Bhimaseni Nirjal Ekadashi, from the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. As we were listening to the glories of this Ekadashi, this Ekadashi always brings up so many wonderful feelings for me, but today, imagine having a day full of miracles just named after you. Just put there specifically for you. Placed there for everyone in the entire universe to benefit, but it all started with you. Imagine the Lord loving us so much that he has personalized blessings waiting for us. This happens for all of us. Sometimes we don't acknowledge it. Sometimes we are unable to acknowledge it, but it is happening. It's happening for all of us at all times. One friend, Nartam Nitai Das, was saying that his Guru Maharaj liked to point out that as we mature in our spiritual practices, we start to realize that we are all living our own personal bhagavatam story. And I really, really loved that point and that realization. How many of us can really think of it in terms of bhagavatam is living, breathing, available with us right now, and we are in our own particular Bhagavatam story? Or do we think, that can't possibly be me? Krishna can't possibly. The moment that we start a sentence with Krishna can't possibly, that's kind of where we go off track. Because if we know anything about Krishna, there isn't anything that he can't possibly do. He can do everything. And so we are all actually really, truly engaging in our own personal Bhagavatam story. What will we choose to focus on? What verses will we choose to focus on within our own Bhagavatam story? Which sections of our story will we choose to focus on? What lessons will we learn? And will we really be able to see Krishna within our Bhagavatam story? Can we find him as the lesson in our lives? What I really appreciate is, I started out with saying that we might not have the courage to ask those very, very difficult questions, the ones that make us feel like we might be judged. But Bhima Singh had the courage. Such a Kshatriya he was, but also non-duplicitous. He wasn't trying to be a hypocrite about it. He was being intensely real about his situation. I need help. I cannot do this. I don't even know. In some versions, many versions, he says, I cannot even fast between meals. He said, how can I be expected to fast for a full day? Just from one meal to another, I feel like I'm going to lose my life. And the Supreme Personality of Godhead, amazingly, was not thinking, oh, I can't help you. I've already done so much to help you. You need more help? After all of this? After everything I've done for you? Our Supreme Lord didn't say any of that. He simply already had a solution waiting. Which also reminds me that no matter what our pitfalls are, no matter what mistakes we commit, no matter what we think our disqualifications are, no matter where the obstacles are, our Supreme Person already has a solution in place. And a solution which will help us gain ground within our bhakti. Are we looking to advance within our bhakti? Or is it something that we're still doing just because it feels good right now? Do we have the desire to somehow or other come to the place of gaining a glimpse of what Srila Prabhupada could see, what our spiritual mentors and our spiritual masters can see? Do we have the desire to really become the recipient of Krishna's mercy? Now, we've heard so much about this Ekadashi and the things that you can do and the things that you should not do. I want to put in a little bit of a disclaimer because I feel like it needs to be put in there. Sometimes we can hear these glories and read these narrations and then think, well, I can't even do that one day. What am I supposed to do? You're okay. If you continue following Srila Prabhupada's added, his added bonus regulations of just fasting from grains and beans and increasing our chanting of the holy name, we're okay. We are under the shelter of Srila Prabhupada. We have such an umbrella of mercy. So we are under that huge umbrella of mercy from Srila Prabhupada. So if you're thinking, I can't fast all day from no food, no water, and just chanting, and I have to go to work and I have to do all these things, or if you have a certain age, or if you are sick, or if you are pregnant, or if you're nursing after being pregnant, or there are so many caveats to this fasting. And my main my main takeaway from all of that is that the Lord is so understanding. Our Lord is so incredibly understanding. Now, the rest is up to us. How much are we ready to dive in and show Krishna how much we love him? To what degree are we ready to take control of our spiritual lives, dive in, and really give ourselves to the process? I heard and kind of Googled, there was a person who went into his apartment and went into his room, and for 16 hours he had nothing but water, and he simply repeated a 1-sentence affirmation for those 16 hours, and somehow or other wound up manifesting millions of dollars. And I heard about that, and then I stopped and I thought, so this person went into their room for 16 hours, fasted, and basically did like affirmation japa. So basically all of the things that the Vedas and Srila Prabhupada have been telling us to do for a very long time. And sometimes I find that we hear it someplace else and then we think, oh my goodness, that is so profound. Have you ever seen people who go to like a self-help seminar over a weekend? And this happened to me. I asked a friend, I said, well, what did you do? And my friend says, well, I got there and it was like the most incredible experience ever. Like they had us get up really early. So we started our day at like 5 a.m. We all get there, and to release all of this pent-up energy, we're like just kind of like dancing it out. We're moving, we're jumping, we're doing all this stuff, you know. And then we were really like forming our affirmations and repeating these affirmations. And what I said was, so basically, Mangal Arti. You paid lots of money and you went to a self-help seminar to do Mangal Arti, in essence. This is us. Krishna is throwing us mercy at every turn, even within this pastime. Bhima is saying, I can't do this. Krishna says, no problem. Here's a way to make a way. Here, just fast on this one Ekadashi. Okay, but also even one who simply hears the glories of this Ekadashi with full faith. With full faith. With absolutely full faith. So, one of our friends in the chat is saying, even if Krishna asks us, why haven't you fasted even from water on Ekadashi? And I'll say, talk to Srila Prabhupada, not me. However, would we? Where is the love? Sometimes, the material world puts us in situations where we find ourselves fasting. Anybody ever been in a situation? You get into a new relationship and everything is, it's the honeymoon phase of the relationship. Everything is new, everything is wonderful. You just want to talk to the person all the time. And then you realize that you've been talking to them for several hours. You haven't eaten anything. You forgot to drink anything. You've just been on the phone or on a FaceTime call or whatever. You've been immersed in this other person. How can I look at Krishna and tell Krishna, but I would never do the same for you? It's too much endeavor. In essence, this is what we say with our actions. Do we have the courage to actually speak it? Or are we still being somewhat duplicitous? Gaur Govinda Maharaj says, so the opposite of a duplicitous nature is a simplistic nature, right? So Gaur Govinda Maharaj said that Vaishnavas are simple, which only means that in a classroom full of students, when the teacher says, does everyone understand? Everyone raises their hand. Yes, I understand. But the one student who actually doesn't understand says, no, I'm missing something. I don't understand. Please help. That's all it means to be a Vaishnava, is that we're honest. And we can be honest. Yes, we will make mistakes. Yes, there will be pitfalls and obstacles. Krishna is not expecting us to be perfect because he knows he's the only perfect one. We are subject to making mistakes. And so Krishna can also forgive the mistake before it even occurs. Krishna has a solution in place if we are able to give our hearts to the process. The solution is always there, whether we find it or not. That's key. Are we brave enough first to say, this is my struggle, this is my problem? And then when we receive the answer to our struggle and our problem, can we receive and accept Krishna's solution? Can we receive and accept Krishna's mercy and love and compassion? Or are we continuously fighting it? I want to make myself available always for Krishna's mercy. Brihad Bhagavatamrita speaks about how Narada Muni went from place to place searching for those who were recipients of Krishna's mercy. I simply somehow want to be counted among those who are recipients of Krishna's mercy. And all that takes is for me to receive it. Krishna's always sending the mercy. But like I said at the beginning, we're playing dodgeball. We're moving everywhere we possibly can in order to dodge Krishna's mercy. Now, I simply want to receive Krishna's mercy. I want to know that my Krishna has my best interest at heart. He will always make a solution, even for my very specific problem, especially for my very specific problem. Krishna has that amazing solution ready for all of us. Do we dare to take it? So whether you are considering your Ekadashi fast elaborate or simple, it is so, I feel, imperative for us to really contemplate, am I allowing myself to become a recipient of Krishna's mercy? And sometimes all that takes is removing the blocks to that mercy coming toward us. Krishna will always send the mercy. Can we simply get out of our own ways and accept it? Ekadashi Devi ki jai. All glories to Krishna's relatives and friends, the Pandavas, who inspired such mercy in our Supreme Lord that he said, I'll name one of my favorite days. I'll name it right after you. From now till the end of time, everyone will remember this in your honor. Imagine, there will be our miracle that everyone will remember as that time that Krishna saved us for the rest of time. All glories to Shri Krishna's mercy and compassion. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Achyuta Gopi. My takeaway is that I can't fast even between the meals. That's my takeaway. Thank you for describing perfectly. Can relate. Okay, questions, reflections, dear devotees. Come up closer. Bhaktendo, crawl up closer to the camera and share the takeaway. Yeah, stretch. Yeah, whatever it takes. Wake up. Jeep juggle.
So, what's the for the non-devotees they don't fast. For the devotees they fast. What's the difference?
What do you mean?
Like that for a devotee he has a consciousness of doing the fasting, but for non-devotee he doesn't have the knowledge of Ekadashi, but still it's the same day for a non-devotee and for a devotee.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, there, it seems a little straightforward whether you are a devotee or a non-devotee. Srila Prabhupada said everybody's a devotee. Some people just don't know it yet. So whether you know that you are a devotee or you don't know that you're a devotee, the day is actually the same. Um, there are so many incredible pastimes, even spoken. It says that Prahlad Maharaj in a former life was married to a prostitute, and one day he gets into an argument with this prostitute. And they're arguing so much, and he's in such anxiety, and he's so just annoyed with his spouse that he's arguing with her all day. They don't really eat or drink or sleep. And the next day, finally, they've solved the issue and things get better. That day happened to be Nrsimha Chaturdashi, even though technically Nrsimha Chaturdashi had not even occurred yet. But the day was still the day, no matter when, past, present, future. So the day of Nrsimha Chaturdashi was still the day. And so because he fasted on that day, even unknowingly, even before it even happened, he gained the qualification to become Prahlad Maharaj. So whether you know that you are a devotee or you don't know that you are a devotee, sometimes life makes a situation. So if life has made a situation where people are even fasting unknowingly today, even if you come close to fire and you don't know what it is, it still burns, isn't it? So this day still has powerful impact and powerful effect, whether you know its glories or not. Whether you know that you are a beloved part and parcel of the Supreme Lord or not. Does that sort of answer what you're getting at?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know what Bhakti Amil must have done to become a devotee in this life. Maybe he fasted accidentally. Who knows? And here he is.
All we know is that it's something extraordinary.
Also, sometimes like we see like there's a person who is like really beautiful or someone is really wealthy, so we understand that he must have done something. He must have done some devotional service, but he's so like averse to God, or like in a way like Kaliya, he was such averse to Krishna, but we understand that he did somehow some good activity. So in that sense, is it that some people did unwillingly devotional service, like fasting on Ekadashi in their previous life, and then they were able to get those kind of merit?
Sometimes I feel like there's a distinction between activities performed within bhakti and simply pious merit. Bhakti supersedes all of the just pious merits. So even Hiranyakashipu was rich and famous and handsome. Even Ravana was one of the best brahmanas of his time. There was nobody who could chant Vedic mantras better than Ravana. And he was handsome like anything, and so rich that his entire city was made of gold. So sometimes, and of course these are special cases because they were direct associates of the Lord also, but we'll see that so many people are beautiful and might have a few more coins than us. But I think that that we have to look at, there's actually a very stark difference between activities performed in bhakti and simply pious activities. This bhakti yoga supersedes all of that. And when we hear about the glories and the 10 offenses against chanting the holy names, it supersedes all of the karma kanda, all of the karmic activities that people perform just to get good results in the future. So bhakti is kind of not like that. Bhakti, once she has placed her handprint on you, that handprint is forever on you. And bhakti loves to breed more bhakti. So that seed of bhakti brings more bhakti. So not just wealth and riches. Bhakti brings more bhakti. So if you are here and you're ever wondering, I wonder how I got to come in contact with Krishna, somewhere, somehow, through some Vaishnava, through the holy name, through Krishna himself, our spiritual masters, somewhere, somehow, some bhakti happened. Because she put her thumbprint on you. And now you can't get away from that thumbprint, no matter how hard you try. And I know people who have tried really hard. It always comes back. And so that is such a saving grace. And I pray, may Bhakti Devi always follow us closer than a shadow. And she always place her hand over our lives.
Wow, nicely said. Prashant Prabhu, go ahead. Oh, Darshan, can you stay for the afterglow just for a few minutes? Yeah, thank you. Whether you're handsome or not, turn on your camera. We only care if you're surrendered. That's all. That's our criteria. Surrendered or not. Okay, thank you.
Once again, Krishna wants to know, how badly do we want it?
Yeah.
Jai Shri Radha Murlidhara Ki Jai. I also want to say a quick thank you to everybody joining me on YouTube. Thanks for being here. Thanks for celebrating this Ekadashi with me. I can't tell you how much it means to be able to come together with all of you and celebrate these incredible, mercy-filled days. Ekadashi is one of my favorite days just because it gives us an excuse to focus even more on our supreme best friend. And he really is a supreme best friend. He is absolutely the best advocate to have in any of our corners at any time. If we just look at the blessings that he has given to his cousin brother Bhima, and he didn't berate him for not being able to fast on all of the Ekadashis. Right? Bhima was not like scathingly judged by everyone around him because he was unable to do something within bhakti. All of his friends, all of his family, they gathered around him. And they said, no problem. We will pray for a solution. So if you ever feel yourself feeling a little lackluster in your bhakti, then go to your people. Tell them truthfully, I am having a problem in this area. And then let us all gather together and pray for each other. Let us use these special days like Ekadashi to pray for those people who really need it. And I'm sure we all know somebody who needs it. So let us take this opportunity, especially today, to try and pray for those of us who are really, really, really in need of prayer. And I think that's all of us.
Nice seeing everybody. Hare Krishna. Thank you. This is Darshan of devotees. Srila Gopi says she likes chanting the names of the devotees, so we like looking at their bright faces also equally, benefiting from that, from their sleepy faces. Karen. Okay. Prashant Prabhu, thank you for the soundtrack. There was no sound from the temple room, but Prashant Prabhu arranged that our ears are engaged in hearing. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, go ahead, Prashant Prabhu.
So I had a quick question. A year back, I had no knowledge of all of these things. So I wouldn't even know when Ekadashi came and went away. So like Bhakta Mil was asking, when non-devotees don't observe these austerities, they are incurring sin, correct? I mean, even if they don't know about it. So that's one question. And now that I know, but let's say I can't do it to the level of like no water, no nothing. What is like the next best option? Like just avoid grains and beans and maybe just fruits and water. Like if you could just like give a ramp up way to reach the correct level.
So I think it's very interesting that we as human beings immediately start categorizing and quantifying things, you know? So it was almost like, give me a ramp to get to the correct following of Ekadashi. Actually, what Srila Prabhupada gave was most correct. And can we accept that? Can we accept that Srila Prabhupada gave us the most correct thing? Or are we thinking, oh, but I need something else, you know? But maybe I need something else. So the first question is, if you did not know about Ekadashi, were you incurring sin? The short answer is yeah. But this Ekadashi says even just hearing the glories of Ekadashi with faith can eradicate mountains of sin. So do we believe that our ability to incur sin is more powerful? Or do we believe that Krishna's mercy is more powerful? Sometimes I feel like we put more faith in our sins than we do in Krishna. No, that can't possibly happen. He can't possibly save me. Okay, then it won't. Because Krishna and Bhakti is reciprocal. Yeyatamam prapadyante tam stateva bhajamyaham. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. All men follow my paths in all respects, in some way or other. So I feel as though we have to constantly ask ourselves the question, what am I putting my faith in? Krishna or my ability to be sinful? And if I'm putting more faith in my ability to be sinful, then why, God, why am I doing that? Why are we doing that? That is not beneficial for us. It's not helping us. It's not conducive to our bhakti. And so Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion tells us that we should be accepting those things that are favorable for our bhakti and rejecting those things that are not favorable for our bhakti. And one of those things that I find is very detrimental to our bhakti is our own mind's ability to place more faith in how sinful we are.
I thought you were going to say YouTube.
We can't reject YouTube. Some of us are currently on it right now. So we have to reject our mind's ability to say, Krishna couldn't possibly save me. Then we are limiting our Krishna. And what we know about Krishna is that he is unlimited and inconceivable. He can and does save us. So sometimes we have to be willing to let go of the baggage from the past. If you didn't know about it before, but now you do know about it, and now you're following to the best of your ability, then let go of whatever happened before. And so it's not exactly the question of are we incurring sin or not, because somehow it seems as though we jivas, we living entities, have a very wonderful ability to incur in inconceivable amounts of sinful activities. We have the ability to perform inconceivable, unlimited amounts of sinful activities. I feel the difference between us and those devotees who don't remember that they're devotees yet is that we have stepped under the umbrella of Krishna's mercy. We've stepped under the umbrella of Srila Prabhupada's mercy. Therein lies the difference. So sometimes, well, what makes my life so different from theirs? Srila Prabhupada's mercy. Krishna's mercy. Well, I was looking on the news and that could have been me. Anything could. Yes, it could have. What makes my life so different than theirs? Srila Prabhupada's mercy. That is the only thing differentiating us from those who simply are bereft of that shelter. That to me is what it means to be a devotee. Accepting shelter. Accepting the help. And then, if you can't fast completely from everything except water, you don't need to. You don't need to. Srila Prabhupada didn't say you needed to. And it could be due to anything. Age, your particular station in life. Like I said, I listed so many things. Age, pregnancy, nursing, all of these things. Too old or too young, either one. This fasting is meant for those who are not sick, who are very strong in body. It's a challenge. It is an intense fasting day. And sometimes not even meant for those who still have to go to work and do all these things. It's meant for those who can sit and simply increase the chanting of the holy names. Because while sitting and chanting and increasing our chanting of the holy names, sometimes we're naturally simply just not focused on eating and drinking all day. But if you really want to trick your mind, where there's a will, there's a way. Tell yourself you're having a surgical procedure the next day. Because how many times have we been put into a situation where we've had to go to a doctor, or you're having some procedure done, or you're having a checkup, and they tell you you can't eat the day before. And somehow or other, for the sake of medicine, we find the wherewithal to fast? But when it comes to our spiritual medicine, the immediate gut reaction is, I can't do that. That's ridiculous. So I feel as though, like I said, where there's a will, there's a way. Convince yourself. And only you know how best to do that. But we can come up with as many ways as we've come up with to add on to our Ekadashi. We've gotten so creative. We can be that creative with our desire to fast for Krishna. Why are we fasting? Is it only because Krishna will eradicate our sins? Or is it because, Krishna, I have so much affection for you. I have so much gratitude for all the mercy you've shown me that I can't help but just increase my chanting this day. And if you can only fast from grains and beans, and I only say only just to give a material mind quantification, because we don't really need that quantification. Srila Prabhupada gave us this caveat and this mercy, and that is enough. But if we are following Srila Prabhupada's method, we are following his mercy, not only is that enough, but all we need to do is simply increase our chanting. Maybe that just means 1 round more than you did yesterday. Maybe that simply means 20 minutes more than you did yesterday. Allow for small victories. We have to try not to put our spiritual aspirations so high that we never reach them. That is so discouraging to our spirit, isn't it? And then next thing you know, we stop trying. Because we think, That level is impossible to reach. Why try? Accept the small victories. Because for Krishna, no victory is small or big. They're all just victories. I hope that answered your question.
There was so much more than Prashant Prabhu asked.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much.
We see Bhima Kaviraj has his hand up. Remember, Bhima, you're a devotee.
This is your Ekadashi. This one is just for you.
It's Bhima Das. It's Das. I'm just that squire who helps suit him up. I just wanted to say that for those of us like my namesake who has a trouble fasting, I have trouble fasting simply because I'm on my feet all day and I get forgetful. But we always have to remember that. What are the two? It's things to do and things not to do. What is it? Nivriti and what are the two Sanskrit terms for that? No, Nivriti.
Praviti.
Yes. Okay. Right. Okay. So this is a question, and one would think that instead of worrying about my own fasting, that if you went out of your way to give prasadam to someone, to give Krishna's mercy to someone, a book or prasadam food offered to Krishna, that would be just as powerful and just as acceptable as a substitute as to, instead of not doing something, we do something small in handing Krishna, Krishna's mercy, being part of that conduit of mercy from Prabhupada to somebody new, somebody unsuspecting. We all know the magic of prasadam and what it can do to change people's lives. Prabhupada, when he first came over 26 Second Avenue after his after his lecture, he would simply cut up an apple and hand out slices of the apple. That's how convinced he was of the importance of prasadam. So what is your angle of vision on that?
Yeah, why do y'all think I'm here every Ekadashi? I mean, no. but this Ekadashi itself says, what even to speak of giving to those who are unsuspecting and don't know the glories of Krishna consciousness? What about those of us who do? And who still need your help and your association? I think sometimes we get so caught up in watching the magic of someone experiencing Krishna for the first time that we forget to help those who have been here for years fall in love all over again with the process. And we can do that for each other. In fact, Sri Krishna even says, just give a Brahmin a water pot. And I put in my 2024 purport of, or a water bottle. Give your friends some water. We can encourage one another. We can be there for one another. Srila Prabhupada said if you have to go out and you do service, you just fast like normal Ekadashi. Fast from grains and beans, milk, fruit, all things that, potatoes. We have every 2 weeks we have our National Potato Appreciation Day, also known as Ekadashi, where potatoes take center stage and they live their rightful acceptance and their glories. But so we can help one another. We can give prasadam to our friends. We can call up a friend and say, speak with me. We can, if we have the desire. There are so many ways to, and it's not even getting around it, but there's so many ways where we can experience this Ekadashi together.
Bhima Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I remember a question very similar to this last year that you asked, and then it was something very, very similar, and you got wrapped around by your horses with some wire. Do you remember that?
Yes, yeah, that's emblazoned in my skin and in my memory. I still have the scars, yes. I don't remember what was happening. I was probably paying for some type of sin that could have been erased by Ekadashi. Every time something like that happens, I can immediately look back, not too far, probably within the same day, I'm getting instant karma from
The question
Krishna.
was like, do I have to do it?
It was wondering
Like
about,
that-
yeah, it was wondering about the potency of Ekadashi and wondering about like the potency of the fasting and how all that works. And then you got wrapped up and a miracle occurred and Krishna saved your life. And you did say, you said, never mind, I accept, I surrender.
Oh, jeez. And Krishna is now reminding me that I gave
That's
my
so
word. Oh, no. And now I'm being...
And
now I'm being
and there are
called out in
witnesses.
public. I'm being called out in public. Oh, my God. I'm sitting here going, well, if I have to go to hell because I'm not following Ekadashi, at least I'll be the one person in hell, trying to tell people about Krishna. Like, who's going to tell people in hell about Krishna except somebody who's going to hell? I was trying to make up every excuse in the book, but now I see Krishna's calling me out here. Wow, that's something else. I'm definitely going to have to take that under serious advisement. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot. Hare Krishna.
I just like to say it started with Nityananda Chandra Prabhu. No, that was actually a really cool. I had totally forgotten about that, Nityananda Chandra Prabhu. Thank you. That's really cool. I mean, sometimes our mind does that to us on a daily basis. I know mine does. My mind is always like, must I? Do I have to? I'm pretty good. Like I've been all right. And unless and until we find some urgency in our lives, we may never take up bhakti to the fullest extent that we can. We will convince ourselves that we don't have the ability when bhakti alone gives us incredible ability. If Krishna is saying that he's the ability within all of us, then I don't want to fight him anymore on that. I want to actually accept, okay, if Krishna is giving me some mercy, then there's no telling what is possible for me. There's no telling what we can do. And Srila Prabhupada believed that. He believed in us. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. He would not have gone through all of that trouble if he didn't, with every fiber of his being, believe in every single one of us. And that's something that I try to cling to when my mind tries to tell me all the reasons why I shouldn't even believe in me. And maybe it's right. Maybe I can't believe in me, but Srila Prabhupada already believed in me. There must be something there. There has to be something there. I recently heard that Lord Nrsingadev was appearing to save Prahlad Maharaj. And he has the demon king Hiranyakashipu on his lap and he rips open his abdomen. And he's thinking, my Prahlad Maharaj somehow or other came from this demon's body. Let me see if there's any other speck of goodness within him. And so he starts searching through intestines and bowels and all the things, trying to find one more speck of goodness within the demon Hiranyakashipu, simply because he knows my devotee came from this body somehow or other. Maybe there's something else good in here. Lord Nrsingadev believed in Hiranyakashipu, even above and beyond and throughout all of his faults. Then it says that the Supreme Lord felt like, well, even if there is no goodness left, because my Prahlad came from the body of this demon, this body of this demon is a place of pilgrimage. And as such, I honor the places of pilgrimage that my devotees have visited so much that I will even smear the remnants of this demon's body on my own body. And thus, he wraps the intestines of Hiranyakashipu around his neck. That is one of those like really, really intense graphic examples of how much Krishna believes in us. There is some goodness there. There is something in there. Sri Krishna created Ekadashi because so many people were suffering in hellish conditions. Ekadashi emerges from his body and begins delivering people en masse. So much so that so many times Yamaraj is afraid. What is going to happen to my job? Throughout many pastimes, Yamaraj is afraid. What will happen to my job? Ekadashi works too well. So if we can simply give ourselves to following Srila Prabhupada's mercy, we don't have to worry about where we're going. Here, there, anywhere. We are simply following Srila Prabhupada's mercy. Saying, "O Venerable Vaishnav, Krishna is yours, and you have the power to give him to me. I am simply following behind you like a dog, crying and crying for Krishna, Krishna." Can we simply do that? Just follow Srila Prabhupada, crying for Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I have nothing to add. I don't want to squander it. You're so beautifully said. I should have Gopi. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful Ekadashi. Drink. I'm going to drink. Sometimes that's the way you can drink your body. You feel the burn, you drink.
Do what you can to chant the holy names.
Yeah, in between the sips. Okay. Make Yamaraj worry. Make Yamaraj worry. That'll be the instruction for today. All right. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Love you all. Haribol. See you tomorrow.
And give your friends a bottle of water, you know.
Yeah.
Find a brahmana, you know, and then give them some water. They can drink it today or tomorrow as they see fit.
Yeah. Give them prasadam. Yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna. Om Tat Sat. Love you all. Haribol. Take care.